Arks of Omen is a massive narrative campaign event taking place for all the factions in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, and they're named for particular Space Hulks that have emerged in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. So these are Space Hulks that have been tooled up a little bit. Abaddon has some assistance, it's fair to say, from a new player who's entered the game, who's turned these Space Hulks into Arks of Omen. This is part of Abaddon's ongoing plan to subjugate the galaxy. It's a pretty big ask, so he does need some assistance, and it's probably fair to say it's not going to be good news for anyone not aligned with the War Master. So the introduction of a new fleet of tooled up Space Hulks with accompaniment from Chaos War fleets from various lieutenants and chosen warlords in Abaddon's service means there's a whole new scope for entirely different types of warfare in the 41st millennium. So you'll find new rules for boarding actions distributed through the Arks of Omen campaign books as we're taking the fight onto Space Hulks, spaceships, orbital stations, anything that you can imagine in space, and taking the fight off the battlefields of the planets of the 41st millennium into those sorts of environments. So it'll make use of some of the scenery that you'll have been familiar with from Kill Team Into the Dark, but scaling it up for a Warhammer 40,000 scale boarding action. So similarly to Kill Team Into the Dark, you can imagine there are going to be a lot of close-ranged firefights taking place, and there'll be certain units and troop types that benefit from those sorts of actions, maybe more so than others. So some of the longer-ranged troops maybe not getting quite so much of an airing, but the close-quarter bruisers and breachers, Tau breaching teams, Terminators, the sort of things that you can associate with Space Hulk clearing actions, that sort of stuff will certainly get a good run out, I'd have thought, in the boarding actions. So Abaddon's goal is to take over the galaxy, not like Horus did as a vassal or a slave to the Chaos powers, but using his own strengths and his own merits. But the galaxy's a pretty big target to try to take over, so he's had to make certain alliances and deal with various power brokers that exist in the galaxy of the 41st millennium. And we're going to see the introduction of a hitherto unknown figure that's going to help him in that regard. So there's something for every Warhammer 40,000 collector, there's new rules for every faction to take part in boarding actions in the Void, and there's also some huge new pivotal background moments. And Arks of Omen will probably go down as the biggest event in Warhammer 40,000 history since the establishment of the Great Rift.